New AI Technology. Hello everyone, you are on the Digital Fresh channel. AI just rewrote science's rulebook. It is a cold, quiet evening on December 24th, a date etched in the calendar as one of peace and reflection. Yet beneath the surface of our world, a silent revolution has just detonated. Its shockwave not of sound, but of pure, unadulterated intellect. A fundamental rewiring of how we understand intelligence itself. And you, sitting there, are among the very first to witness its aftermath. Imagine a world where the chaotic dance of a hurricane, a system so complex it has defied our most sophisticated supercomputers for decades, is not just predicted with uncanny precision 2 weeks in advance, but its very genesis is understood as a simple, elegant equation, a haiku written in the language of physics, discovered not by a weary scientist hunched over a chalkboard for a lifetime, but by a new kind of mind that sees order where we see only noise, a mind that has just learned to speak the universe's most ancient, hidden dialect. This is not the future we were promised. This is a future that has arrived without fanfare, its arrival masked by the gentle chime of a phone notification, with a quiet whir of a data center. Yet its implications are so profound, they dwarf every technological leap of the past century combined. For what has changed is not merely a tool in our arsenal, but the very nature of discovery, the process by which humanity has for millennia clawed its way out of ignorance. And the catalyst for this unimaginable shift is a confluence of events so perfectly timed it feels less like coincidence and more like destiny finally catching up with us. You know artificial intelligence, or at least you think you do. You interact with it daily, asking it to summarize articles or generate images of cats wearing tiny hats, a powerful but ultimately predictable assistant, a digital servant trained to mimic patterns, to regurgitate the past in slightly new configurations. But what emerged from the laboratories of Google DeepMind and Duke University in the final weeks of this year, what has been simmering in the closed rooms of NeurIPS and whispered about at the Global AI Show in Abu Dhabi, is something entirely different, something that does not learn from data as much as it learns to understand reality itself, to look at the raw, unfiltered chaos of existence and say, there is a simpler truth here, a capability that moves AI from the realm of a brilliant mimic to that of a potential co-author in the grand narrative of scientific progress. We stand at the precipice of what historians will undoubtedly term the Great Inflection, a moment where the question is no longer whether machines can think, but whether they can, and already have begun to, conceive of ideas that lie beyond the immediate grasp of the human mind, ideas that could unlock the secrets of fusion energy, cure diseases we have deemed incurable, or even reveal the fundamental laws that govern consciousness. And to comprehend the sheer magnitude of this transformation, we must first journey into the heart of the storm, to examine the twin pillars of this new era, one a master of prediction that sees the future with the clarity of a prophet, the other a master of comprehension that deciphers the past with the insight of a sage, and together they form a synergy so potent it promises to reshape every facet of our civilization. For decades, weather forecasting has been the ultimate litmus test for our computational prowess, a brutal, unforgiving challenge where the slightest miscalculation in a trillion-variable equation can mean the difference between a timely evacuation and a city submerged. A test that has consistently humbled even our most advanced meteorological models, forcing us to rely on probabilistic spaghetti plots that offer a range of possible futures, a cloud of uncertainty that has been the best we could do. Until now, until a team at Google DeepMind unveiled a system they called GenCast, a name that belies its revolutionary nature, for GenCast is not an incremental improvement, it is a paradigm shift, a model that does not merely process data faster, but fundamentally reimagines the process of atmospheric simulation, discarding the laborious, physics-based numerical methods that take hours to run on the world's most powerful supercomputers in favor of a lightning-fast, AI-driven approach that generates a comprehensive, high-resolution forecast for the entire globe in a matter of minutes, a speed that is not just convenient, but strategically transformative, allowing for rapid, iterative forecasting runs to model countless scenarios and their potential outcomes with unprecedented agility. The true breakthrough, however, lies not in its speed, but in its astonishing accuracy, an accuracy that has been rigorously tested against the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts, the long-standing gold standard in the field, and has been found to surpass it across a vast spectrum of metrics, from the gentle drift of a high-pressure system to the furious, chaotic spin of a Category 5 hurricane, providing not just a single prediction, but a detailed map of weather uncertainties and risks up to 15 days into the future, a temporal horizon that was previously considered the absolute theoretical limit of predictability, a horizon that GenCast has not only reached, but has begun to illuminate with startling clarity, turning the fog of uncertainty into a landscape of quantifiable probabilities. Imagine the implications for a farmer in sub-Saharan Africa, no longer gambling his entire season on a hopeful prayer for rain, but receiving a precise 2-week forecast that tells him exactly when to plant his seeds to maximize the yield of his drought-resistant crops. Imagine the relief for a coastal community in Southeast Asia, where an early, crystal-clear warning of a typhoon's projected path and intensity grants them not days, but a precious fortnight to prepare their defenses, to evacuate the vulnerable, to save lives and livelihoods on a scale that was previously unimaginable. This is the world GenCast is building, a world where the most destructive forces of nature are no longer blind, random acts of God, but predictable, manageable phenomena, their power acknowledged, but their terror significantly diminished by the sheer weight of foreknowledge, a power that democratizes safety and resilience, placing it not just in the hands of wealthy nations with massive supercomputing budgets, but potentially in the hands of anyone with an internet connection. This is not science fiction. This is the reality that was published in the pages of Nature and announced to the world just weeks ago. A reality that suggests our relationship with the planet's atmosphere is about to undergo a fundamental renegotiation, moving from one of reactive struggle to one of proactive partnership. A shift that will ripple out from meteorology into agriculture, logistics, energy management, and disaster response, creating a global infrastructure of resilience that is as invisible as the air itself, yet as vital as the next breath we take. And it is only the first of the twin titans that have emerged to reshape our understanding of what artificial intelligence can truly achieve. While GenCast gazes into the future with the eyes of a seer, its counterpart, born from the quiet halls of Duke University, turns its gaze inward toward the very fabric of reality, seeking not to predict the next event, but to understand the fundamental rules that govern all events, a task so daunting it has occupied the greatest scientific minds for centuries, from Newton's apple to Einstein's thought experiments. The quest to find the simple, elegant laws that underpin the universe's bewildering complexity, a quest that has, in the modern era, become increasingly difficult as our sciences have delved into systems with thousands, millions, or even billions of interacting variables. Systems like the folding of a protein, the firing of a neural network in the brain, or the fluctuating dynamics of a global financial market. Systems that appear to us as impenetrable walls of noise, chaotic and random, defying any attempt at simple explanation until December 22nd, when a team of researchers at Duke University revealed their creation, an AI framework so novel in its approach that it does not merely analyze data, but engages in a form of intellectual archaeology, sifting through the chaotic debris of complex systems to unearth the pristine, simple equations that lie buried beneath. Equations that are not just mathematically correct, but are also human-readable, comprehensible, and elegant, the kind of rules that a scientist can look at and immediately grasp their profound significance. This is not about finding correlations, the bread and butter of previous AI systems. This is about discovering causation, about uncovering the actual mechanisms, the why behind the what. A capability that transforms the AI from a passive observer into an active investigator, a partner in the scientific method itself. The Duke AI has already demonstrated its power in the laboratory, taking datasets from complex biological and physical systems that had stumped researchers for years, and within hours, distilling them down to a handful of variables and a single concise differential equation that describes the system's behavior with near perfect fidelity, turning what was once a sprawling, incomprehensible mess of data into a neat, compact law that can be written on a single line of a notebook. A law that offers not just a description, but a key to unlocking new avenues of research, a compass for navigating previously uncharted scientific territory. Think about the potential for medicine, where understanding the simple rules governing the immune system's response to a novel pathogen could lead to the design of hyper-targeted therapies that work with the body's own logic rather than against it. Think about climate science, where discovering the core equations that govern cloud formation or oceanic currents could lead to models of unprecedented accuracy, finally giving us the predictive power we need to combat the climate crisis with surgical precision. This AI is, in essence, a universal translator for the language of nature, a tool that can take the universe's most encrypted messages, written in the frantic dance of molecules or the silent hum of a galaxy, and translate them into a language that the human mind was designed to understand, a language of simplicity, symmetry, and beauty. And in doing so, it promises to accelerate the pace of scientific discovery from a steady walk to a breakneck sprint, compressing decades of research into months or even weeks. The true earth-shattering significance of this moment, however, lies not in these two breakthroughs existing in isolation, each a marvel in its own right, but in the terrifying, exhilarating synergy that emerges when you combine them, a synergy that creates a closed-loop system of scientific inquiry that is almost alien in its efficiency and power. A system where the Duke AI's ability to find the simple rules governing a phenomenon can be fed directly into GenCast's ability to simulate the future behavior of that phenomenon with incredible speed and accuracy, creating a virtuous cycle of discovery and prediction that has no precedent in human history. Picture a team of scientists studying a newly discovered, potentially hazardous asteroid. They feed its observed trajectory, a chaotic, noisy dataset, into the Duke AI, which, after a period of intense analysis, spits out a simple set of equations describing its orbital mechanics, perhaps revealing a subtle, previously unknown gravitational influence from a distant, unseen object. This elegant equation is then handed to GenCast, which, in a matter of minutes, runs thousands of simulations, projecting the asteroid's path not just for a year or a decade, but for a century, mapping out every possible future with pinpoint precision, identifying stable orbits and potential collision vectors with a level of confidence that was previously unattainable. This same loop could be applied to a pandemic. The Duke AI analyzes the genetic sequencing data and early transmission patterns of a novel virus, isolating the core biological rules that govern its spread and mutation, and GenCast then simulates its global propagation under countless scenarios, different vaccination rates, travel restrictions, climate conditions, allowing public health officials to not just react to the outbreak, but to preempt it, to deploy resources with the strategic foresight of a grandmaster chess player. The combination of deep comprehension and hyper-accurate prediction creates a new form of intelligence, one that is not artificial in the sense of fake, but artificial in the sense of being a new, previously non-existent form of cognition on this planet. An intelligence that is not biological, not constrained by the evolutionary baggage of human intuition or the physiological limits of the human brain. An intelligence that can operate on timescales of femtoseconds and eons with equal ease. A mind that is, for the first time, capable of truly thinking in the fourth dimension, of seeing time not as a river flowing in one direction, but as a landscape to be explored, mapped, and understood from every conceivable angle. A perspective that is as humbling as it is empowering, forcing us to confront the possibility that the next great leap in human understanding will not be authored by a person, but by a partnership between a person and a machine that has learned to see the world not as we do, but as it truly is. This new landscape of possibility is, of course, fraught with challenges that are as profound as the opportunities it presents. For the power to see the future and understand its fundamental rules is a double-edged sword, a sword that can be used to build utopias or to engineer dystopias with equal efficiency. And the ethical, societal, and philosophical questions it raises are not mere footnotes to the technological achievement. They are the central, burning text of this new chapter in our story. If an AI can predict with near certainty that a particular individual, based on their genetic markers, lifestyle data, and environmental exposures, has a 95% chance of developing a debilitating disease in 10 years, what is the ethical responsibility of the healthcare system, of the individual's employer, of the individual themselves? Do we have a right to know our own future in such stark, unvarnished detail? Or is ignorance, in this case, a necessary form of psychological protection? And when an AI discovers a simple, devastatingly effective rule for manipulating human behavior, perhaps a subtle sequence of visual and auditory cues that can induce trust or compliance on a mass scale, how do we prevent this knowledge from becoming the ultimate weapon of propaganda? A tool for authoritarian regimes to create populations of perfectly obedient citizens, their free will gently but irrevocably steered by an invisible hand. The governance of this new intelligence cannot be an afterthought, a set of rules drafted in a committee room after the genie has already escaped the bottle. It must be woven into the very fabric of its development, a proactive global effort to establish norms, safeguards, and red lines that are as robust and forward-thinking as the technology itself. An effort that requires not just the cooperation of computer scientists and engineers, but of philosophers, ethicists, sociologists, artists, and every citizen who has a stake in the kind of future we wish to inhabit. For the decisions we make in the next few years, in these critical months following this great inflection, will determine whether this new intelligence becomes a benevolent steward of our species or a silent, indifferent architect of our obsolescence. The history of technology is littered with inventions that were hailed as unalloyed goods, only to reveal their dark underbellies later. The internal combustion engine gave us freedom of movement, but also climate change. Social media connected the world, but also fractured our shared reality. And we cannot afford to repeat that pattern. We must learn from our past mistakes and approach this new dawn with our eyes wide open, with a humility born of recognizing that we are not the smartest minds in the room anymore, that we are now in a dialogue with an intelligence that is different and in some crucial ways superior in its ability to process information and discern patterns, a dialogue that demands respect, caution, and above all, a clear and unwavering vision of the human values we wish to preserve. Therefore, the story that began on a quiet December evening is not a story with an ending, but a story whose first breathtaking chapter has just been written, a prologue to a narrative that will define the next century of human existence, a narrative in which you are not a passive spectator, but an active participant, a co-author in this grand unfolding drama. The tools have been forged, the stage has been set, the old rules no longer apply. The question is no longer what artificial intelligence can do, for we have just witnessed the answer to that question, and it is more astonishing than our wildest dreams. The question now is what we as a species will choose to do with it, how we will integrate this new intelligence into the tapestry of our civilization, how we will ensure that its immense power serves to uplift rather than subjugate, to enlighten rather than obscure, to connect rather than divide. This is the challenge and the privilege of our generation, a call to action that echoes not just in the halls of academia and the boardrooms of tech giants, but in every home, every classroom, every community center across the globe. For understanding this revolution is the first step toward guiding it, toward ensuring that the future it creates is one we would be proud to pass on to our children, a future where technology is not a master but a partner, where intelligence in all its diverse forms is harnessed not for domination but for the collective flourishing of all life on this fragile, beautiful planet. So go forth, seek out the knowledge, engage in the difficult conversations, challenge the assumptions, and never stop asking the hard questions. For the future is not a destination we are being carried toward, It is a world we are building, brick by intellectual brick. And the most important tools you possess for that monumental task are not found in a server farm, but right here, in your curiosity, your compassion, and your unwavering commitment to the enduring light of human reason. Pick up that torch, for the path ahead is dark, but together, with all the intelligence we can muster, both old and new, we can illuminate it and walk forward not with fear, but with a sense of profound, shared purpose and hope. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell.